Huh?
Good evening, one and all. Today is the last day of our FDP. I warm welcome our participant from all over India and our today chief guest, Dr. Arun Kumar, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, Ramco Institute of Technology, Rajapalayam. Now, I call upon Mr. Dhananjayan sir to introduce our chief guest.
Good evening, one and all. It is my privilege to introduce our resource person, Dr. R. Arun Kumar, a certified patent agent and working as Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Ramco Institute of Technology. He has completed his Masters in Engineering at National Engineering College, Koilpeti in the year 2015. He is pursuing his PhD on solar flash distillation at Anna University, Chennai. He has published 4 research papers and 12 conference papers in the field of solar flash distillation and solar thermal applications. He has undertaken 2 funded projects, one of which is completed. He also has filed 3 patents in his field and registered 2 copyrights. He had delivered lecture talks about the IPR in many colleges and institutions. He also has membership in many professional societies such as Institution of Engineers, the Indian Society for Technical Education, and the Imperial Society of Innovative Engineers India. On behalf of our department, I welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, shall I start?
Yes, sir. Please share your screen, sir.
Yeah. So, good evening, all. So, before getting into the session, I would like to thank the management of Rajapalayam Rajus College and the organizers, as well as my own institute for giving me this opportunity to share what I have learned in the past 7 years in the field of intellectual property rights. And today's session will be focusing on, as per the topic is given, it is IP protection and to safeguard the copyright and design in science and technology. And for the next 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes or 1.5 hour, so what we'll be having a glance or what we'll be having an understanding is that what are all the different types of IP rights? Because in general, most of us we get confined about different types of IP rights into a patent, copyright, industrial design, um, and trademark. Only to 4 or 5 steps. But actually, there are 8 different types of IP that is being administered in India. So this session will be an eye-opening to all and to you all, and as well as you'll be having a better understanding what are all the different types of that is 8 different types of IP that is administered in India, and what for those 8 IP rights are meant for. So that is what going to be the focus of today's session. And towards the end, we have a Q&A so that we can have a clarity on the topic that we have gone through. And before formally getting into the session, I would like to have a small disclaimer to make you all having a deep understanding about the different types of IPR. So what I have made is that I have included various examples, and which includes images, logos, and brand names of various companies. And the purpose of bringing all those into this presentation is only to have a better understanding. And I am here not to promote or demote any brand. So, with a small disclaimer, I would like to formally get into my content. And this is what the agenda for today's session is going to be. So we'll understand what actually an intellectual property right is, and we'll understand the need of the intellectual property. So why we people have started that to exclusive or that to a specific focus on academicians? Why we academicians have started to talk about this intellectual property rights, and we'll understand what all the different types of IPR, as I told you earlier, and we'll have a special focus on patent and its criteria, followed by the remaining 7 different types of IPR apart from patent. So this is what going to be the flow of today's session. So, sir, any questions, Dr. A. Arun Kumar? I could see your hand is raised. So hopefully no. Yeah, fine. I'll get into the content. See, now everyone could have, or everyone will be able to see an image here. So actually, we all know that it is Tanjore Big Temple. It is an image of Tanjore Big Temple, and the purpose or what is the reason I have brought in this image here is that we all know that the person who constructed this Tanjore Big Temple is Rajaraja Cholan, but usually the purpose for constructing a worship place, whatever it may be a temple or a mosque or a church, whatever it may be, to worship God. So that is the purpose of constructing a worship place. But when a question is being asked related to this Tanjore Big Temple, who is actually the god residing in this temple? Most of us doesn't know the name, the actual name of the god who is residing in this temple. But whereas when a question is asked who actually constructed this monument or this temple, everyone will be knowing the answer. It is Rajaraja Cholan. So that is what the value of property is. Once again, I'm stressing here the purpose of constructing a worship place is to worship God, whereas most of the people doesn't know the name of the God residing in this temple, whereas everyone here will be knowing who actually who actually constructed this temple. That is what the value of property. So if we are able to create or if we are able to develop any property, that property will help us to be remembered even after our death and over generations. And that is the beauty of property. So if we want to be remembered, we should create some property to the society or to our family or to our close relations, so that those people will always remember us. And that is the value of a property. Now, we'll have a deep understanding about this intellectual property. and why we should go for intellectual property rights. See, we all came across the price of this onion and tomato in recent days. So it got shoot up to 200 rupees or more than that. And now it have came back to its normal price. Now, what I'm trying to convey here is that see, this onion and tomato, these are all the tangible properties. Tangible in the sense we can touch and feel it. We can physically touch those property and we can feel it. When these tangible property price rose from its nominal price to 200 or above it, what started happening in our country is that people started to steal this onion or a tomato in bags. Now, once again, I'm stressing here, this onion and tomato are a tangible property which we can touch and feel it. And when the price rose up to 200 rupees, people started to steal it. Now, think about your intellectual property. Your intellectual property is an intangible property, which means that at an initial stage, it won't have any tangible form. We cannot physically touch and feel it. When people are ready to, or people are dare to steal a tangible property, it will be always easy for them to steal your intangible property, that is your intellectual work. And there comes this IP into the picture. If you want to protect your intellectual work, your intangible assets, you need to have some legal security or a legal protection. And that is what this intellectual property rights comes to in the picture. See, for example, if you own a bike or a car, or if you have a house or a land, the way you will be able to prove those property. Now, whatever the example I have said, it's all tangible. We can touch and feel a car or a bike or a home or a land. We can touch and feel it. All these are examples for tangible property. If you want to prove that these property belongs to you, you will be having some legal evidence, right? If you want to prove a car or a bike, you will be having your registration certificate. Now, similarly, if you want to prove a house or a land belongs to you, you will be having that legal deeds. So obviously you'll be having some way of protective measures, a legal documents which is being provided by the government. In a similar way, if you want to protect your intangible assets like intellectual property, you need to have some a, a documentary evidence or a legal protection, and that is what this IPR is meant for. So, to put in a simple words, what actually an intellectual property is? Intellectual property is nothing but any property that arises out of human intellect or called as intellectual property. Whichever that comes out of human intellect, those property are called as intellectual property. And the right which helps us to protect those intellectual property is called as intellectual property rights. So, in general, the right which protects the intellectual property are called as intellectual property rights. And within that intellectual property rights, we are having various category, which is patent, copyright, and so on. As I told you earlier, there are 8 different types. So far, we have understood what actually a property is and how this property is important for every individual by means of giving a unique identity. And we understood the difference between a tangible property and an intellectual property, and we came to an understanding what is the need or what is the basic purpose of this intellectual property rights. Now we have a deep analysis about the benefits of this intellectual property rights. See, I'm having an intellectual work. I have protected it. Now, what I'm going to get out of it? What is the benefit for me as an intellectual property right owner? Whatever the benefit an individual is going to get out of a tangible property, all those benefits can be availed from intellectual property right also. That is an intangible property also. For example, I have constructed a new house. What can I do with that house? I can reside in the house. That is, I can use that house, and next I can rent it, or I can lease it, or I can even sell it, or even if I want to renovate or destroy and reconstruct, I can do it, because all these rights are given for me with the by the support of the legal protection that is given by the government, right? In a similar way, if I'm being the owner of an intellectual property, what I can do is that I can own that intellectual property. I can lease the property, I can license the property, or I can sell the property, whatever I want to do. So ultimately, as like in a tangible property, we'll be getting a monetary benefit. In a similar way, we'll be getting a monetary benefit out of this intellectual property also. So that is what the ultimate benefit or advantage of this intellectual property rights. So whatever the benefit that an owner will be getting from a tangible asset, the same benefit will be received or will be benefited by that owner with the help of this intangible asset, that is intellectual property rights. So, as I told in the beginning, we people are talking a lot about this intellectual property rights in the past 8 to 10 years, and that too more specific in academia. What is the need? Why we have to talk about this intellectual property? There are various needs. I have confined all those needs into 6 points here. Now I list out and explain what are all those need of this intellectual property. The first one is it prevents infringement from the competitor or by the competitor. What actually infringement is that no one will have the dareness to copy your invention or copy your idea, because if you are having a home and you are residing in it, no any stranger will have the dareness to enter into your home with a forcefulness and claim that the house or home belongs to them in a similar way, because you are the owner and the legal evidence is proving that you are being the owner of that home. In a similar way, if you have the intellectual property right for an idea or for an invention or for a creation that has been developed by you, and if you own the right of it, no one will have the dareness to copy or forcefully take it out of you. That is the first benefit of or need of this intellectual property rights. And second one is it gives the complete right to the inventor legally, as we saw on the previous slide. With the help of owning that IPR, you can lease it, you can license it, you can own it, you can sell it, whatever you want to do. So all these benefits can be availed with the help of this intellectual property rights. And next one is it minimizes the needless investment in R&D. So what actually a needless investment in R&D is that? Now I'll tell you. For example, you consider the case of this COVID. So we Indians have used two different medicines. So one is Covaxin and the other one is Covishield. So we all know that Covaxin is an indigenous vaccine which has been completely developed in our country, whereas Covishield was actually developed by Oxford University and Serum Institute in Pune. They got the license transfer from Oxford University and they manufactured and marketed it in India and a few other countries. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that what Serum Institute did is that instead of spending a lot of time, and once again, I would like to have a small disclaimer here. I am not here to claim that Serum Institute have not undergone R&D. I'm not here to claim that. So what I'm trying to convey here is that instead of spending lot of energy, lot of efforts, lot of resources in R&D, they smartly got the license transfer from the original developer of the vaccine, and they got the market benefit here in India. And we Indians, we prefer Covishield over Covaxin because Covishield first came into the market, and that became the market advantage for Covishield over Covaxin. So, in spite of being an indigenous vaccine developed in our country, Covaxin was unable to get that market advantage over Covishield. So, what I'm trying to convey here is that hopefully you'll be catching the point. So, instead of spending a lot of R&D and lot of efforts and lot of time, you can simply get the license transfer from some other manufacturer or some other original creator, so that it will be helping you to have an easy marketing strategy. And next one is it improves the innovation index of a country. So I'll show you and I'll tell you what actually an innovation index is and what is the position of our country in that global innovation index. And next one is it helps the inventor to provide licensing agreement to others, as I told in the previous case of this Covishield. So as Serum Institute got a license transfer from Oxford University to market and to sell it in India and other countries. And next one is it gives the monetary benefit to the inventor ultimately. So whatever the property you're going to create, the purpose of creating a property is to have a monetary benefit, and that is what it is going to end up. So these are all some few need of intellectual property rights. Now we'll have a deep understanding about how an individual's responsibility of generating an IP is going to help a country, that too in our perspective. Now, as I told in the previous slide, the Global Innovation Index. So here you can see the Global Innovation Index of the countries, which is actually released by World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. So WIPO is an organization, or it is actually a wing of a United Nations organization, and this WIPO is exclusively administrating the IP right management across the countries. And this is coordinating, and this WIPO is actually managing all the IPs across the countries. And what this WIPO does is that they used to release a rank called the Global Innovation Index every year. And here you can see the position of our country. It is 40th spot. So in innovation, we are at 40th spot. Now, I would like to make a point here is that UN have said that, or it is predicting that India to be the most populous country in the world, and it is predicting the population of our country to be more than 40 lakhs when compared to China by the year 2022, by the end of year 2022. And it has also been reported that the average age of our country is 28.4, with almost 60 percentage of the population having age less than 40 years. Now, in spite of having this a large and a rich human resource, young brains, we are unable to compete to top 10. Now that is a problem with us. Now it doesn't mean that we Indians doesn't have or we don't focus on innovations or inventions. It is not so. We do have innovations and inventions, but where do we fail is that we fail to protect our inventions and innovations. It is because of completely lack of awareness. And if we started to have this awareness and started to protect our IP, we can become the global leader of this present knowledge driven economy. The reason why China is being talked in the recent days when we talk about the global economy is that they have become the hub of manufacturing. They have become the hub of knowledge. They have protected all their generated IPs, or almost all possible IPs, under intellectual property rights, and they have commercialized it. And that is why they have become the hub of this knowledge driven economy. In a similar way, we have to focus on it, and we have to protect our intellectual property rights, and we need to find the scope for commercialization so that our country can also become a, a self-reliant country, so that we can improve our trade as a surplus trade, and we also can shine in this global innovation index. And to claim that we Indians are also having innovation and the quality of innovation, I'll show you an example here. See, you can see a two graph here. So towards the left side of the presentation, it talks about India, the top and bottom, and towards the right side, it talks about China, the top and bottom graph. And the graph which are at the top talks about number of patent applications that have been filed in India and China respectively. And at the bottom, you can see the graph which talks about the number of patents granted in India and China respectively. And uh, it has been plotted across the year, almost for 10 years. Now, here in each graph, you can see three different kind of colors in all the four graphs. So one is orange, and other one is light blue, and other one is dark blue. Probably, if I'm right, you'll be able to see it as a dark blue or a black in color. Now, what actually the difference between these three colors is that we'll just take the example of the first graph. That is number of patents applied by number of patent applications filed in India. This first graph, you can see the orange color. What does this orange color indicates is that number of patent applications filed by non-residents in India, that is by other country people in India. And this dark blue indicates number of patents filed by Indians in India, and this light blue color indicates number of patents filed by Indians in other countries. Similarly for China, this orange color indicates number of patents filed by a non-Chinese in China, and this dark blue indicates number of patents filed by Chinese in China, and this blue color indicates number of applications filed by Chinese in other countries. Now here you can see the dominance in India. Orange color is dominating. That is, the other country people are filing patents in India, which clearly indicates that they are trying to effectively utilize our market. India is a huge market with a population of more than 141 crores. So we need to utilize, or we need to effectively use our own market, whereas the other country people are utilizing our market. Whereas you compare it with China, here you can see the Chinese are dominating in their country. And in fact, if you want to have a much more focus, you can see this light blue color, that is number of patents filed by Chinese in other countries. It is almost 1 lakh, which is almost double the time greater than our stats. Or even if you focus on number of patents filed by Indians in India, it is almost 5 times or approximately 4 times. Now, that is what our position is, because we don't have awareness. We need to create awareness. Being a faculty member, it is our responsibility to have awareness, and we need to create awareness to our students. And now we'll compare the quality of patents that is being generated in India and China. Now, I would like to say a point here is that if you are going to file a patent today, it will approximately take 3 to 4 years for getting the result. Either it is granted or rejected. Now, if a patent has been granted in the year 2020, then it should have been filed in the year 2016 or 17, right? Now we'll take the stats of India. Now we'll consider this dark blue color, that is patents granted for Indians in India. It is approximately 5,000 applications are being granted. If these applications are granted in the year 2020, then it should have been filed in the year 2016 or 17. If you consider 2017, the number of applications filed is approximately 15,000. So it is evident that approximately one in every three applications are getting granted in India. That is the quality of our invention. Now we'll focus on China. In the year 2020, number of patents granted for Chinese in China is 4,20,000. And once again, if it has been granted in the year 2020, it should have been filed in the year 2016 or 17. In 2017, the number of patents filed by Chinese in China is approximately 12,50,000, which is also approximately one in every three applications are getting granted. Now see, nowhere we have compromise in the quality of our invention. The compromise, or where do we lag, is that in number of filings. Now I'll show you a newspaper clipping, so which I came across today, and this was took from Times of India newspaper. Here you can see the patent filing status of our country. Now you can see this graph, which is indicated in blue and orange color. And one positive is that in the year 2020-21, the number of applications filed was 58,503, whereas in the year 21-22, it have rose up to 66,440. And here you can see the percentage of grant. In the previous slide, I told one in every three application is getting granted, which is approximately 33 percentage, whereas in the past 2 years it have gone up to 45 percentage. So the quality of our inventions or innovation is keep on increasing. And one more key point here is that the southern states are dominating in total number of patents filing, and Tamil Nadu is the state which files more number of patent applications in India in the year 21-22, in the financial year 21-22. Whereas previously it was dominated by Maharashtra, followed by Tamil Nadu. Now Tamil Nadu have moved on to position one. Now this is what the scenario of our country. We still need to keep on increasing. We need to move ahead. We need to have much more awareness so that we can also dominate in this knowledge driven economy. So with this, I'll stop the first half of this session. Now we'll move on to the second half, that is type of intellectual property rights. And meanwhile, if you have any queries, you can post your question in the chat box so that I'll try to address that. Or towards the end, I'll address that queries. So the different types of IPs that has been administered in India is are patent, trademark, copyright, industrial design, geographical indication, trade secret, ICs. which is called as SICLD, Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Registry Protection. And the last one, which I have not mentioned here, is plant variety and farmer side protection. Now we have a better understanding about each types of intellectual property right. The first one is patent. So what actually a patent is? Patent in India is granted for inventions and innovations. So what actually the patent is meant for is, it is meant for inventions and innovations. And those inventions or innovations can be a product or a process. So once again, I'm repeating, those inventions or innovations can be a product or even a process, and those product can be either in a tangible form or even in an intangible form. So hopefully you got it. So once again, I'll tell you, in India, patent is granted for inventions and innovations, and those inventions are either a product or a process, and that product can be either in a tangible form or even in an intangible form. So generally we have a misconception that or a misunderstanding that a patent is given for a tangible form. It is not so. Even for an intangible form of product, it is eligible for patent, or even a process is also eligible for patent. And also, we all have a myth that patent is meant for a remarkable invention or some breakthrough inventions or innovation. It is not so. Any invention or innovation which addresses a simpler a problem, even a simple solution, can also be patented. So for that only I have shown an image here. So here you can see an image. The device name is called as actually shovel. You just ignore the wheel. You just ignore the wheel, and you just imagine that device alone. The instrument name is called a shovel. Now imagine you are going to handle the shovel. Now we all know that the shovel is usually used in construction sites, right? It is meant for lifting a weight from one place to another place. So now you imagine yourself, you are going to handle the shovel. Now just imagine once again you are a right-hander. Now being a right-hander, naturally your right hand goes to the handle part, and your left hand goes to the middle of the stem of this shovel. Now this is the problem with this shovel. Being a right-hander, I can I can handle maximum weight on my right hand, whereas while handling the shovel, maximum weight is lying on my left hand, and similarly vice versa for a left-hander. Now this is the problem with the shovel, and to address this problem, what inventors came up with is that they simply attached a wheel to the shovel. Now the shovel is hinged at the center to a wheel. Now what happens? Now if I'm going to use this a shovel with a wheel, my both the hands will automatically go to the handle. And what I can do, I can easily mobilize the shovel from one place to another place with the help of the wheel. I can lift the weight, I can move it, and I can offload it. Now it is a simpler solution of the shovel, and now it has been granted with the patent, and you can see adjacently the patent number that has been granted in the US. Now this is what I'm trying to convey. Patent is not a big deal at all. Even a simpler solution can also be protected under patent. And whether every invention or innovation can be protected under patent, yes, there are certain constraints are there. There are certain non-patentable inventions are there. Apart from that, all the inventions can be protected under patent, provided if it satisfies three criterias, and those three criterias are these three: novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. When your invention is going to satisfy these three criteria, provided it doesn't fall under the non-patentable inventions of Section 3 Patents Act 1970, then your invention is also eligible to get a grant of patent. So what we'll do is that we'll just explore what are all these three criteria in detail. And before that, I would like to share you an information related to this invention. So hopefully most of the people here, you will be watching cricket, and now present the World Cup is going on. So we all know that in the past half a decade, in cricket we have started to use, or almost a decade, we have started to use this LED stump. So you can see that image at the left side of this presentation. A person standing behind, he is actually the inventor of this LED stump. His name is Bront Eckermann. Now, what does this LED stump does is that when the bail or just off from the stump, then the LED light in the bail will be started to glowing. Now, what is the purpose of this LED stump is that to improve the accuracy upon decision making related to run out, related to stumping, uh, for for giving a better accuracy result for the third umpire, and to have an accurate result, these LED stumps have been introduced. Now, just a pair of LED stump. You just imagine just this LED stump which is having, I mean, the stump which is having a provision for LED glowing. What could be the price of this LED stump is that it is approximately 24 lakh rupees pair of LED stump. And you all would have came across this IPL recent edition, and I would like to recollect a match which happened, which was between Punjab Kings and Mumbai Indians. During the match, the last over was bowled by Arshdeep Singh, who is a fast bowler of Punjab Kings. So he actually bowled the last over. In the consecutive two balls, he actually broken two LED stumps. And next day, that became the headline in sports news, because it was mentioned that approximately he had broken two stumps worth of 24 lakh. That is, each LED stump is a worth of 12 lakh. Now see, just a simple invention which serves a problem in the society, or in this community. Now that had become a remarkable invention or a breakthrough for this person. And for your information, this LED stump was actually filed for patent in more than 110 countries in the year 2011. The year 2013, it was given a status of patent grant, and in 2014, this LED stump was used for the first ever time in ICC major tournament. Now, a patent grant is usually for 20 years from the date of filing. So he had filed in the year 2011. Now he can hold the right of this patent till 2031. Still 8 more years out there. Now, after 2014, when ICC started to use this LED stump, now he had become a billionaire. Still 8 more years are there. Now, what I'm trying to convey here is that one invention can make a big change in one person's life. Now he's a billionaire. He was initially an Australian engineer. He was working in a company. Now he had become a billionaire. Now that is what the beauty of this intellectual property right is. So with this a small story or a small information about this LED stamp, we'll move further about those three criteria. So once again, I am telling you the three criteria are novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. Now, what these three criteria are? Now we have a deep understanding about each criteria. The first one is novelty. What actually novelty is? Novelty is nothing but it must be new. It must be unknown to anyone in the world. Now, you may got confused because in early slides I told that you need not to go for a remarkable invention. You need not to go for a breakthrough innovation. Now in this slide, I am claiming that your invention should be new and unknown to the public. Now I'll clear you this this doubt or this misconception with an example here. Now we can see two images here in this presentation. So one is a gem clip and other one is binder clip. See, the purpose of this gem clip and binder clip is to hold a bunch of paper. So before we started to use this gem clip or binder clip, what we were using is that we used to have a thread. We used to pierce at one top corner of the paper, and we used to pierce it, and we used to tie it with the help of the thread, and we'll be able to hold a bunch of paper. Now, The problem with that traditional method or that old method is that once we started to pierce the paper, later on the paper will be started to tear off. Now that is a problem. Now to address that problem, a simple solution was introduced, which is called as gem clip. Now you just imagine, you can see the image of the gem clip here is right. You just imagine that you are unfolding that all bits. Now what happens? Gem clip, gem clip is just a simple straight string, isn't it? It is just a straight string. Now it is being folded to 180-degree in both the end and in opposite direction. A simple straight string, it is folded in a U shape to 180-degree in both the end and in opposite direction. Now that have become an gem clip. Now this is a simple solution. See, now this solution overcomes the problem of piercing hole in a paper. Now, once again, there is still more problem, some more problem there in this gem clip. What is the problem? We cannot hold large bunch of paper, right? We cannot hold large bunch of paper. Now what we have to go, we have to have some other mechanism which is called as a binder clip. We all know what is a binder clip. Now you just imagine, have you ever seen the mechanism or the method this binder clip works in our day-to-day life? Obviously we would have seen in the clips that we are using for drying the cloth. The same mechanism, it is being used in the binder clip. Now, a same mechanism or a same technology used in a single application, and if the same mechanism or technology is, if it is being used in a different application, then that can be claimed to be novel. So hopefully you got the point. Uh, the same mechanism or the same technology, but in different applications, can be considered to be novel. Now that is what the novelty is all about. Novelty is nothing but it must be new and it must be unknown to the public. And second one is inventive step. What actually inventive step is that? It should not be a mere improvement. It should have or it should include either a technical advancement or economic significance. So what actually a technical advancement or economic significance is that see, for example, if you involve some technology in your invention, then you can claim your invention to be technically advanced or it is having inventive step. Or what you have to do is that you need to prove that your invention is having some economic significance. What actually economic significance is that your invention or your innovation should bring the price of a product down. For example, I'm having a webcam with me. Now assume the price of the webcam to be 4,000 rupees. Now I have brought in a new process. With the help of the new process, I am able to manufacture the same webcam of same quality, of same appearance, and with all same feature to a price of 2,000 or 3,000. Then that process can be claimed to be inventive step because I have brought down the price of the camera, right? That is called as economic significance. Now it can be claimed to have an inventive step. So hopefully you got the point. So what is actually inventive step? So inventive step is nothing but either there must be a technical advancement or economic significance. And third one is industrial applicability. Because all the inventions or all the innovations arises out of ideas. Some ideas may be feasible, many ideas may not be feasible. To check the feasibility of converting idea into a product, this third criteria has been introduced, which is called as industrial applicability. Whatever the idea you are narrating, it must be in a state that it will be able to be manufactured in an industry or it is able to be used in an industry. If so, then that invention can be claimed to satisfy this industrial applicability. So these are all the three criterias: novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. So hopefully you got a deep understanding about patent. To conclude with patent, what I'm trying to say here is that patent is always not a big deal at all. As I told earlier, even a simpler solution can also be protected under patent. So that is the advantage or uniqueness of this IPR. Now I have shown you an image here. So here you can see the image of an Australian cricketer. His name is actually Phil Hughes. He is an Australian cricketer, and what was happened to him is that you can see the continuous screenshot in that slide towards the right side bottom. He was trying to play a short ball which was bowled by a seam bowler. He is actually a left-hander. While he tried to play the pull shot of the short ball, he misjudged the ball. He mistimed it. He was unable to meet the ball with his bat. So what happened is that the ball strike the portion behind his ears, and the helmet which he was wearing did not protected that part. And once this 140 k's ball hit the portion behind his ear, he suddenly got collapsed within few seconds, and he had fallen down on the ground itself. And actually, he is no more, and he died because of this incident. Now that is the problem with the present helmet, and that is why a company called Missouri Group, they introduced a new kind of helmet which actually protects the portion behind your ears. Now, this is what the simplest solution. That is what I'm trying to convey here is that you just explore what is the problem with the existing product and what is the problem around us. If you are able to give a simpler solution, and provided if those simpler solution are satisfying the three criteria for patent eligibility, then your invention can also be protected under patent. And that is what the statement says here is that 90 percentage of the patents as on date are only for improvements to an existing patented inventions. So that is what I am telling from the beginning itself. You need not to have any remarkable inventions or breakthrough inventions. You can just give a solution for an existing problem, or for or even a simpler solution to an existing product. And if the efficiency or if the performance of that existing product improves, then you can claim that invention to be protected under patent. Now that is all about patent. So I would like to have a small recap of patent. So patent in India is given for inventions and innovations, and that invention can be either a product or a process, and that product can be either um, a tangible one or an intangible one. And patent in India is granted for the inventions or innovations which satisfy three criteria. One is novelty, second one is inventive step, and third one is industrial applicability. And the duration for patent protection is 20 years from the date of filing. Once again, I'm stressing here, from the date of filing, not from the date of grant. It may take 4 years or 5 years, but still your grant period will be calculated from the date you have filed. So that is what all about patent is. Now we'll move on to the next form of IP, which is called as copyright. So in India, copyright is meant for creations. So inventions are meant for patent, and creations can be protected under copyright. So what actually creations is that a creation can be uh, an art, a music, a film, a software code, whatever it may be. So if your creation falls under these any category, any one of this category, then your creation can be protected under copyright. It can be a literary work, it can be a sound recording, it can be a drama, it can be an art, it can be a music, it can be a cinematography, or even it can be a software program. If your invention, I'm sorry, if your creation is going to fall under any of these categories, then your creation can be protected under copyright. And the tenure for copyright protection in India is 60 years from the death of author. For example, if I have authored a book and if I'm having the copyright, then the tenure of protection is 60 years after my death. If I'm going to die today, from now it will be calculated till 60 years. If I'm going to die after 20 years from the date on which I am dying, From there, it will be calculated to be 60 years. Okay, fine. Being an author and being the owner of the copyright, if I'm going to die, then after my death, who is going to enjoy the benefit of copyright? Obviously, as like in a tangible property. After my death, whatever the property I'm having, that will be enjoyed by my legal heir. In a similar way, all the IP right which I'm having, it will be enjoyed by my legal heir. So that is what the copyright is all about. So I would like to make a point here is that copyright is even given for expression of thoughts, and that is why I have brought an example here, Jungle Book. So we all know what actually the story of Jungle Book is, right? And this Jungle Book came as a book, it came as a comic, it came as a movie, it came as a cartoon, it came as a film, it came as even a 3D animated film. It had its different editions, and all those different editions are developed by different creators, but the storyline was same. The story was same, but every creator expressed the story in their own form. They had different kind of expression, and every expression of thought is also eligible for copyright, provided the creators have to acknowledge the original creator. For example, if Rudyard Kipling is the original creator of the story means, then all the remaining expression of thought creators have to acknowledge the original creator, Rudyard Kipling. So if that acknowledgement is there, then you are eligible for getting the copyright of your expression of thought. And even copyright can also be given for compilation of work. Being an academician, we all are involved in compiling various content, right? For delivering the subject or the course. If you want to deliver a topic, we'll be collecting information from various sites, and we'll be preparing a PPT, or we'll be preparing a notes of lesson, whatever it may be, for delivering to the students. And that compilation of work is also eligible to be protected under copyright. And one such example is the presentation which I'm presenting now. And you can see the presentation which I'm presenting now, it is being protected under copyright. And here you can see the copyright certificate, and towards right you can see the slide which is being signed by the deputy registrar of copyright, and at the bottom you can see the acknowledgement letter. So what I'm trying to convey here is that being an academician, we all would have involved in developing lot of works which are compiled and referred from various sites. And if you are acknowledging the original creator, and each and every compilation of work can also be protected under copyright. And that is why you should have noticed in my presentation, wherever I have brought in the images, I have represented the source of images. That is a kind of acknowledging the original creator. So that is all about copyright. To conclude about copyright, copyright is meant for any kind of creations, and that creation can be either a music, art, a sound, a cinematography, or even a literary work, or a software program. And the tenure for protecting this copyright work in India or across even the countries, it is actually 60 years from the date of death of the creator. That is all about copyright. Now we move on to the third form of IP, that is called as trade secret. What actually a trade secret is that, and what are all the steps that are eligible for trade secret is that um, any stuff, if you are doing a business, and if you feel that any stuff of your business is having a market advantage over your competitor, then those steps can be protected under trade secret. For example, consider Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was actually it came into the market almost 100 plus years ago, right? But still, it is sustaining in the market, and still, no any competitor are able to replicate the taste of Coca-Cola, because the company maintained that trade formula as trade secret, that manufacturable formula as a trade secret, that chemical formula as a trade secret. Now, just a small information or a brief story about Coca-Cola. Actually, the formula was developed by a person called John S. Pemberton. He is actually a chemist, and During his lifetime, he developed the formula, and later, what he did is that he completely transferred the license to a company which actually formed as a Coca Cola. Now, Coke is here in this market for almost more than 120 years, and still they are leader in the market. It is because they are maintaining the trade formula and the trade secret. In that way, if you feel any stuff or any characteristics of your business or your company to have a market advantage over the competitor, means then you can protect it under trade secret. And as far as trade secret is concerned, there is no any standard period of time for protecting. Until the secret is revealed, the tenure remains. And once if someone else reveals a secret with their efforts, like for example, say by means of reverse engineering, then the secret will be opened up. Until the secret is opened up, the protection remains. So it is all about the way the company is handling the strategy it is adopting for protecting the trade secret. And the other kind of example, or you can consider Google. See, Google is not the only search engine in the world. There are a lot other search engines, but still, most of the people prefer Google to be the preferable search engine. Why is that? Accuracy of result. For example, if I'm going to search Anna Nagar by standing in Madurai, Google will be showing me the uh, 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 what to say this Google will be showing me the result of Anna Nagar, which is located in Madurai. In a similar way, if I'm going to search Anna Nagar in Chennai, what this Google is going to do is that it is going to show the result of Anna Nagar in Chennai. That accuracy of result, that accuracy is because of the computer programming that they are having behind the screen, and they are maintaining that as a trade secret. So once again, trade secret is meant for any stuff that is having or that is giving you the market advantage over the competitor in the market, and those stuffs can be protected under trade secret. And similarly, this KFC chicken or this Madurai chicken, the taste are unique. No any competitor or able to replicate the taste, and that is being maintained under trade secret. And that is all about the trade secret is concerned. Now we'll move to the fourth form of IP, which is called as trademark. So what actually a trademark is that, for example, a car is moving on. For example, a car is moving on the road, and suddenly, if we want to identify which company it belongs to, the first thing we'll be noticing is the logo, right? That logo will help us to understand which company it belongs to, and that is what a trademark is. Any kind of signature that helps the customer or the consumer to distinguish the goods and services from one company to other company, or from one enterprise to other enterprise. All those signatures are eligible to be protected under trademark. For example, it can be a smell or a sound, it can be a brand name, it can be a signature, label, name, logo, slogan, letter, words, whatever it may be, which helps an individual to identify that is that is helps the customer to distinguish the goods and service. Then those signatures can be protected under trademark. And as far as trademark is concerned, it can be protected for 10 years, and after that it can be renewed indefinite period of time, once in every 10 years. So that is what the trademark is meant for. And if any of your students, or even if you have a plan to start a business, or if you run a business, what is my suggestion is that you try to protect these brand name or the company name under trademark. I'll tell you what is the importance of protecting this trademark. Now, before that, I would like to give you an information here. So, if you have any kind of note, whatever it may be, you will be able to see the brand name. And if there is an indication at the top of the brand name TM or R in a circle. What is actually the difference between this TM and R in a circle is that TM indicates that the company have applied for trademark and yet it has to be granted, whereas R indicates that the trademark have been applied and it is been granted. That is, the registration has been given. So that is a basic difference between TM and R. Now you can see in this image, India Gate, towards the top of this India Gate, you can see the mark TM. And now, if you go to the market and buy this India Gate basmati rice, you could see the symbol R in a circle. Because while I was preparing this presentation, the India Gate Basmati rice, they have applied for trademark and now it is being granted. Now that is what the difference between this TM and R. And if you are unable to see any kind of mark, then it is evident that the company or that brand have been approached or they haven't gone for this trademark registration. Now I'll show you or now I'll tell you what is the value of this trademark. Now what I'll do is that I'll show you some list of products. You just try to identify what is the name of those product. I mean the product name. Now here you can see the image of this yellow packet, right? The actual name of this product is Vanaspati, but conventionally we used to call it as Dalda. Now here the name of the company or the name of the brand had overtook the product name. That is the beauty of trademark. Once if the consumer or customer are used with your product, a day will come on which the customer will remind your they will be remembering your brand name instead of the product name. Similarly, see this one, the actual name of the product is diaper, but what we used to call it as a pampers. Pampers is one of the company which manufactures this diaper. Whereas you just imagine you are going to a shopkeeper and you are asking for this product. If you ask him diaper, then the question will be coming which brand you want. Either you want Pampers or Mammy Paco Pants or whatever it may be, or Huggies, whatever it may be. Whereas instead of asking as a diaper, if you ask give me Pampers, then obviously the shopkeeper will be giving you the brand Pampers. Now what you are doing is that you are eliminating the competitor from the picture. That is the value of trademark. And if you start a business or if you run a business or if any of your students or having a thought to start a business, you just ask them to protect the brand name or company name under trademark. Now we'll move on to another product. So here you can see this machine, and we used to call this machine as a JCB, but the actual name of this machine is backhoe loader. JCB is one of the company which manufactures this backhoe loader. Now that is the value of trademark. And once again, this last machine name is the name of the machine is photocopier, but conventionally we used to call it as Xerox machine. Now in recent days, if you get into a photocopier shop, you can see the machine with a brand name Canon or HP. Almost most of the shop doesn't have this brand, but if you come out of the shop and see the name of the shop, the name of the shop will be so and so Xerox shop. Now that is the impact this company name have created. That is what the value of trademark is. So once again I'm stressing, if you have a plan to start a business or if you are doing a business or if you're a student or anyone known to you or having or doing a business, you just suggest them to protect the trademark under the brand name under trademark, because it will fetch them a value addition to their company. So that is all about trademark is concerned. Now we'll move on to the next form of IP, that is called as industrial design or design registration. What for this industrial design is meant for is that any kind of aesthetic appearance, if you have a product and if the shape of the product is unique, then those stuff can be protected under industrial design. See, for example, you're having a product and you are packing it in a pack, and if that packing is having a unique shape, then that can be protected under industrial design. And the most important specific parameter here is that industrial design need not to have any functional application. the shape, the aesthetic look, that can be protected under industrial design. And as far as industrial design is concerned, in India, it is being protected for 10 years, and after which you can renew it or extend it to a maximum period of 5 years. So put together, you can have a protection period of 15 years in India. And once again, I'll tell you how this industrial design is going to create an impact on the market. Now, again, what you're going to do is that you just identify the brand name. See, nowhere I have specified the brand name. I have removed the brand name from this image. But still, all of us, or most of us, will be able to identify this a bottle belongs to the brand Induleka. So how we are able to identify it? Because the color of the bottle, and if the bottle which is having a cap which has a comb-like structure, we automatically we are able to identify that or recognize that it belongs to the brand called Induleka. Now that unique shape can be protected under industrial design, and for your information they have protected it, and that is why you cannot see the competitors are having a similar kind of bottle, because they have protected it under industrial design, and that gives you the market advantage over your competitor. Now we'll move on to the next type of IP, which is called as plant variety protection. So it is also called as farmers right protection. And what for this plant variety and farmers right protection in India is meant for is that any kind of invention which is related to plant kingdom, those stuffs can be protected under this plant variety and farmers right protection. So for example, I have genetically modified a seed of a plant, and I have introduced a new genetically modified plant means, then those stuffs can be protected under industrial, I'm sorry, this plant variety and farmers right protection. So any invention which are falling under this category, that is under plant kingdom, then those stuffs can be protected under plant variety and farmers right protection. And as far as this PVP is concerned, the tenure of protection is 15 years in case of plants and 12 years in case of trees. So that is what this plant variety and farmers right protection is concerned in India. And I would like to have show you an example here is that you can see this cotton plant. Usually, what happens is that this cotton plant is being affected by bollworm, and the cultivation or the yield gets affected. Now, what this company Monsanto did is that they underwent R&D, and they genetically transformed or modified the seed of this cotton plant so that the new modified plant is not getting affected by this bollworm, and that is what we used to call it as a BT cotton. So these kind of inventions, once again, which falls under this plant kingdom, can be protected under plant variety and farmers right protection. And I have already told you about the tenure of protection also. And before going to the last type of IP which I have presented here, one more kind of IP which I have not mentioned in uh, this presentation is that semiconductor and integrated circuit layout design registry protection. Shortly, it is called as SICLDR. It is meant for any kind of development that is made under semiconductor or integrated circuits. For example, we are having a mobile phone, and there is an IC inside the mobile phone, and the layout of that IC can be protected under SICLDR. And as far as SICLDR is concerned, it is concerned in India, it is not that much up to the mark when compared with other kind of IP, because we are not that much explored in semiconductor and ICs. We are just importing from other countries, and that is why, after being introduced in the year 2001, so far only two SICLDR protection has been granted in India. One has been given for Bharat Electronics Limited, and other one has been given for ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. And hopefully, if the initiative of the governments to make India as a hub for the semiconductor and the ICs, if it happens successfully, then we can expect more number of protection under this SICLDR. Now we'll move on to the last and eighth form of IP, which is called as geographical indications. So we all know that every location will have an exclusive or a familiar product, and if the characteristic or if the feature of the product it is because of that particular location means, then those commodities can be protected under geographical indications. For example, you just consider jasmine flower of Madurai. So jasmine is not having. I mean, what I'm trying to convey here is that jasmine is a flower which not only cultivated in Madurai, it can be cultivated anywhere. But the quality of jasmine, which is cultivated in Madurai, is having that much of quality. So it is being exported and it is being converted into a perfume and it is being exported across the world. And that unique characteristic, it is because of the location where it is cultivated, and that is why that is being given under protection under geographical indication. So in a similar way, any product or any commodity which has its unique characteristic or which has its unique feature with respect to the geographical area or the geographical origin, then those steps can be protected under geographical indication. And as far as the geographical indication is concerned, it can be it can be protected for 10 years, after which for an indefinite period of time it can be renewed after expiry of every 10 years. Now that is what this geographical indications is concerned. And the steps which can be protected under geographical indications or agricultural product, manufactured commodities, handcraft work, natural and foodstuffs, all these steps can be protected under geographical indications. And as far as geographical indication is concerned, I would like to make a point here is that uh, one uh, one thing about the geographical indication protection is that it won't be given for an individual. Geographical indication can be claimed only by a group of people or a society or an association. It won't be granted for an individual or to an organization, that is a single organization or an entity. And for your information, the first ever geographical indication which was granted in India is for this Darjeeling tea. Yes. So it is given for Darjeeling tea. That is the first ever geographical indication which was granted in India in the year 2004. And as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, the first ever geographical indication was given for uh, the Salem fabric. And this geographical indication numbers, if we accumulate as on date in India, almost 470 plus geographical indications have been granted, if I'm right. And Tamil Nadu is the state which has large number of geographical indications, followed by Karnataka. So the total tally of Tamil Nadu, if I'm right, it have exceeded 50 plus among those 472 geographical indications. So as on date, 470 plus geographical indications have been granted in India. And that is all about the different types of IPs is concerned. And hopefully you got an understanding about what actually this IP is, and why should we have a keen focus on this IPR, and what are all the different types of IPR, and what these types of IPR are focusing on, and what is the way it can be protected. So all these stuffs we have gone through here. And before officially concluding here, I would like to share few information related to the career opportunities related to intellectual property rights, specific about IPR, so that being a faculty member which can be shared among the students. So one is uh, the opportunity is if a candidate have completed a UG, a science degree, then he or she can appear for exam called patent agent exam. And I have already cleared in the year 2022, and I'm a certified patent agent. And what I can do is that I can legally and officially handle and process all the inventions which are developed by the inventors to protect it under patent and other kind of IPR. So that is what the first thing. And second one is patent examiner. So if I am going to apply for a patent, it will be examined by certain experts in patent office, and these examiners are government employees. And in patent office, they are recruiting these examiners under various streams: physics, chemistry, mechanical, electrical, computer science, information technology, of various domains. And once the call for is made, you can ask your students to appear for it. And the eligibility criteria is they have to complete the degree in that particular specialization in which they are willing to appear for it. And the last I would like to stress here, which is exclusive for women, because I was able to see a lot of women here, and exclusive for women, those who are willing to work, but the society and the other constraints have restricted them to work. It is eligible only for women who is not working. So if any of your known circle persons, known circle women, are having interest to work from their home, and if they want to explore their knowledge, and you can suggest them. So if you have a pen, you just make a note of it. The program is called as WISE IPR, WISE IPR, which is exclusive for women, exclusive for a non-working women. And they what the government is doing is that every year they are calling for on 1 year internship, which you can do it from your home. So they'll be conducting an exam, and you need not to have any basic idea. You can be zero in IPR. You just want to appear for the exam, in which that is what I'm trying to say is that if you have any science degree, and in that science degree they'll be conducting the exam, you need not to have any basic idea about IPR. And if you have become eligible, and if you have cleared the minimum criteria, then you will be undergoing 1 year internship, which is given by government of India. Only constraint here is that for the first month you need to be appearing for that internship physically in New Delhi, and in the remaining 11 months you can attend that internship from your home. And upon completion of 1 year, they'll be conducting an eligibility test, and if you clear the exam, the government will be giving you a certificate of being an IP expert. From the scratch you can become an IP expert. And this is what this program is all about, WISE IPR. So for more details you can explore it. So the time is 6:15, and now with this I'll stop now. Once again, I would like to thank the management of Rajabalayam Rajus College and the organizers, as well as my own institute, for giving me this platform to share what I have learned in this field of IPR. So once again, thank you all participants for your patience listening. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Very, very excellent information, sir, you have given.
Thank you, sir.
Very excellent, excellently you have presented.
Thank you.
We are all enjoying your the way of approach to deliver the lecture.
Thank you,
And
sir.
dear participants, I think you have enjoyed well. And if you have any question, you can ask. The sir is waiting. Dear participants, any question? I think no questions, sir, because you have very well explained about each and everything. So I think no clarification.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's my immense pleasure to be here to give vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Secretary, sir, President, and most respected principal, management, members of College Governing Council for their constant support and encouragement to organize this faculty development program. I would like to thank our guest speakers, namely Dr. N. Vijayan, Senior Principal Scientist and Professor of Indian Reference Material Division, CSIR, New Delhi. Dr. Saravanan Rajendran, Faculty of Physics, National Institute of Technology, Puducherry, and Dr. J. Arumugam, Librarian, PG Tech, and Dr. N. Meenakshi Sundaram, Faculty of Physics, Vivekananda College, Trivandrum, and Dr. K. Karthikeyan, Associate Professor of EEE, Ramco Institute of Technology, and again today's speaker, Dr. Arun Kumar, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, the same Ramco Institute of Technology. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivered the lectures for this FTB. And I would like to thank the participants from all over India for participating in this FTB. Finally, I would like to thank our teaching and non-teaching faculty of our department for helping me to successfully complete this FTP. Thank you. The next year we will conduct same like FTP in the new topic. So I'm in need of fullest cooperation from your side. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, madam. And feedback.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Sir, sorry to disturb. My mic was not opening. That's why I was not able to ask the question to sir. So, if you have permission, then can I ask one question?
Yes, you can. Sir, Arun Kumar, sir.
Yes, sir, I'm available, sir. I'm available.
Yes, sir.
Sir, myself, Mohammad Imran, research scholar in pharmaceutical chemistry from Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Sir, I want to ask a question that if we have published any paper, so can we go for patent or first patent has to be filed, then we can go for the publication?
Yes, sir. It is always advisable to go for a patent and then the publication, sir. Because as I told earlier, there are three criteria which has to be satisfied. One is novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. So I told that the novelty is nothing but it should be completely new. It should not be known to anyone else anywhere in the world. Now, if you have published your paper, you have disseminated all the technical information related to your invention through a peer-reviewed journal, so it would have reached most of the people and everyone would have been known about it. Now what happens is that your paper will become what happens is that your paper will itself become an evidence that you have killed the novelty of your invention. So it is always advisable to go for a patent and then the publication. On the previous day you just file a patent, and obviously it will be taking 3 or 4 years. The next day what you can do is that you can communicate to a journal for a publication. But there are certain provisions in patents act. So if you are able to prove that your publication is completely or it is exclusively meant for an academic purpose, then the government of India or the patent office is providing you a 6 months of time. So from your date of publication you'll be having 6 months of time, after which you will be able to apply a patent within that 6 months of time. And once if that 6 months of time is exceeding, you won't be unable to apply for a patent. But that process is somewhat tedious. But what actually I used to suggest is that you just first go for patent applications and then you go for publications.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, feedback link we have given in the feedback in the WhatsApp group. So kindly fill up the feedback form. Certificate will be generated tomorrow onwards. So no worry. Thank you. Thank you so much, Arun Kumar sir, and the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Sir,
much.
it
Thank
was
you.
very informative and interesting and unique FDP, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. I'm
Sir,
selection grade professor from Maharashtra, Government Polytechnic, Maharashtra, sir, Kolhapur.
wow, super ma'am, super.
Super, ma'am, super. 25 years of experience.
Great.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Please leave the meeting, please. Thank you, Arun Kumar sir. Thank you.